Hey everyone, this is Natasha from MakeupInSFC. Welcome back to my channel. So today I was inspired by Sloth, one of the deadly sins, and I got together with 6 other lovely ladies and we decided to do a collaboration for the Halloween season. Hope you enjoy. So as always, the first thing I do is prime my face, and I'm using the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Primer in clear, and I'm using that all over my face. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm using a very light foundation. I'm using the CoverGirl Stay Outlast foundation in Soft Honey and the L'Oreal True Match foundation in W5. And I'm using that with a damp beauty sponge, and it's just the really cheap ones, and so I'm using that to blend all over my skin, including my ears and down my neck. Now the makeup look that I'm going for today is I really want this to be messy but with a purpose, and so as I'm blending in my skin, I wanted my skin to look like I hadn't seen the light of day. Sloth, you're very lazy, and so you're staying inside most of the time. When I envision someone who is, taking part in the deadly sin of sloth, I feel like they get a lot of sleep because they have become accustomed to that laziness in life. So I decided to really highlight my skin with a lighter concealer, and I'm using, and I'm sorry it's discontinued I think, but it's the Maybelline Mineral Power Natural Perfecting Concealer in Fair. So this is like really brightening. It's too bad it's not really for my skin tone, but it's a good concealer, I have to say. So the eye look that I'm going for today is a very gray toned smoky eye, and so right now I'm priming my eyelids with my Fergie for Wet n Wild eyeshadow primer in Take on the Day. Then I'm going to set my under eye with my e.l.f. HD under eye powder, and just taking that on a mineral brush from e.l.f. Then as always, I'm setting my whole face with my Coty Airspun Loose Powder in Translucent with a little powder puff that I got from, I think it's called Skin Food. It's an Asian skincare brand. At first I used an e.l.f. concealer brush from the Studio line to use the color Pebble from my Smashbox Masterclass palette to contour my cheeks, but I found out that I wasn't getting enough of the definition, so I decided to change to my Real Techniques buffing brush, and taking that on the brush I started to put what I call my transition color for my contour. Using a lighter gray is just like using a transition shade on your eyelids. So I'm using it as a base. That way when I put my darker contour shade, it's going to fade in a gradient motion. Next I'm using the color Smoke, but I'm pointing to the wrong one, and that is what I'm going to use to deepen up my contour using the same brush. Then I'm taking that Smoke shade and I'm going to use that to contour the perimeter of my face, so that's up around my hairline and down on my jaw. So being the lazy sloth that I am, I'm pretty much using these 2 eyeshadow shades for the entire look. So I'm using Pebble again for my crease, and I'm using that as a transition color. And I'm using this color Tattoo in Toughest Taupe as my base for the rest of my eyelid. So just using my ring finger, I'm going to place that on the majority of my eyelid. On a small e.l.f. detailer brush, I'm also taking Toughest Taupe under my lash line so that I can start prepping that for shadow. Using that same concealer brush, I'm now using smoke all over the lid, and I'm pretty much just doing a very messy smoky eye. So I'm pressing that onto the eyeshadow base so that I can get the most pigment on my lid. Using this e.l.f. Essential eyeshadow brush, I'm taking that smoke shade and I'm going to smoke up my lower lash line just to create some balance because it looked a little top heavy. And then I'm going to take this nude shade from the palette again, and I'm going to use that to buff out the edges of my eyeshadow and just sort of warm up the look because I noticed that it was a little too cool toned for my liking. Then taking this Eco Tools brush, it's more of a tapered blending brush. I'm taking more of that smoke and putting it right into my crease, that way I can deepen up the socket. Then as always, go back and blend and really buff out the edges. So this is something I wouldn't normally do, but I'm going to highlight, or I guess darken my inner corner with this black eyeshadow. It's called Panther from the Wet n Wild single eyeshadow. And there I'm freaking out because the Giants had a home run. I'm watching the game as I record this, and I'm really using that to feather in the inner corner to darken it up and sort of bring some drama to the inner corner. And I'm using this e.l.f. Duo Fiber brush that I got from a travel kit. Then I'm going to do the same to the other eye. This is optional, but I decided to contour the sides of my nose with those two gray shades. And so this is my first time trying it, and I'm using that Eco Tools brush again. And I'm pretty much just blending the sides of my nose and using my fingers to further blend it. That way it doesn't look harsh and it looks a little more natural. And here I wanted to go back and just deepen up my contour even more because I wanted my cheeks to look as sallow as they could. Next thing I'm going to do is fill in my brows, and I'm using this lip liner Stone from MAC, and I'm just filling in my brows as normal. If you'd like to see a tutorial on how I fill in my brows, I have a link down below. Using the same Stone lip liner, I'm going to use that to line the outer portions of my lip because I'm going to prep it for a ombre gray lip. Then I'm using the NYX Macaron lipstick in Black Sesame, and it's a really light gray tone lipstick, and I'm just putting that over top of my lip liner. And then I'm going to use my finger to blend it out again. Then I wanted to take some of this Panther eyeshadow again and dust it down the center of my lips just so that I could make my lips look a little cracked and kind of like dry. Then taking my Duo eyeshadow and my lashes from Kiss, they are in the number 11 and they're really long and fluttery. So taking some second day hair, I just took this brush, and it's just a wet brush, but my hair is not wet, and I just decided to brush my hair upwards to create some of this frizz as if I had been like sleeping all day and just didn't care about what I looked like. And so there you go. Fabulous. By this point, this is not special effects, this is the sun going down. So luckily it made my video look creepier, and here is the finished look. Just gonna put my hood for this costume and look really tired and lazy. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please check out all of the ladies. I will have all of their links down below. Each one did a deadly sin, so please enjoy and have a happy Halloween. Bye!